Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good morning. How is everyone? It is about 9:15, 9:20 here in the eastern slope. It's clouding up. We've been having temperatures in the high 90s, actually about 100 every day. Hot, hot, hot. And today we're supposed to get a few hours this afternoon of some rain. With these clouds kind of coming in, I would expect we'll probably get a little bit of moisture today. Boy, I sure hope it cools it off. It has been very, very hot. It hasn't been cooling down until after midnight. So anyway, that's the temperature thing. Today's topic. Gosh darn. I've been debating about this one or not. I did a blog on it yesterday, I believe, and it was a good blog about fairness. I saw a video yesterday early. Here comes a guy running. He's got his dog, and his dog does not want to be running this morning. He's got his tongue out and tired dog. I wonder if we're supposed to take dogs running all the time. What if they don't want to go? I don't know how that works. But anyway, I saw a video yesterday. I fell in love with it. And it was very, very cool. It was about fairness. And it had a line of kids, I don't know, in their late teens, near as I could tell anyway. There's probably, there could have been, I don't know, 30 of them. And the guy came out, younger guy in his 40s, and he said, here's a $100 bill, and whoever wins this little race we're going to run, 100 yards or whatever it was, gets to keep the $100. But I want to do an experiment with you. And so he went on to say, anyone who comes from a family that has put them through private education, take 2 steps forward. And a few kids move forward. Anybody who has gotten their first car through their parents, take a couple steps forward. A few people do. Anybody who comes from a wealthy family and a big house and a nice neighborhood and has never missed a meal, never not had food on the table kind of idea, take a couple steps forward. And again, a few more come forward even more. And then he goes on to say things like, I'm not recalling every single one. He had like, I don't know, maybe 8 of these things. And he said anyone who lives in a neighborhood where there's no violence or crime, take a couple steps forward. So you get the idea of what I'm saying, right? Which is what he was making the point of, that some people come from advantage. Some kids, some younger adults, kids, come from advantage. And then he says, I want you to turn around and look at the people that do not have or did not have your advantage. And there were, I don't know, a third of the kids in the back, minority, probably came from projects, hard neighborhoods, crime, violence, drugs, um, no money. Oh, another question he says would if you come from a single, if you come from a family where you have both your mom and your dad, take a couple steps forward. And of course some did. And then he went on to say when he was telling the kids to turn around, you know, some of these kids don't have the other parent, maybe the dad, and they come from a single parent family. They're at a disadvantage. And then he said, these black guys probably are going to kick your ass in this race. Because that's how bad they want it. So, the point and the takeaway that he was, you know, trying to convey to these kids was that life isn't fair. And he said to these kids, not anything that you did caused this. You are not responsible for where you're growing up or how you're growing up. You did nothing wrong. And, you know, that's a two-sided deal. The wealthy or affluent kids, you know, they did nothing wrong. They just got born into a rich family with a lot of bennies. and the poor kids, they didn't do anything wrong. They just got born into a poor family. And that was very important for him to convey that to everybody and that they understood. Right? I'm making coffee now at home before I leave. It stays nice and hot in my thermos mug, and I don't know, it's probably better coffee. It's half and half, you guys. It's only got half the caffeine. But so he said, I hope you guys all understand the differences amongst you and that none of you are at fault, being either ahead of the line or behind the line. He said, let's race from the marks that they were all on. And the black kids in the back just kicked the white kids' ass way up front. And, you know, one kid got a $100 bill. The sad part was that there were a few of the kids on the front, a more affluent side, didn't get it. That was the tragedy. Common sense psychology, huh? Wow. So the reason I bring that up this morning is because it resonated with me all night, and I wanted to correlate that to, not necessarily how we're raising our kids, but how are we as parents. And do all parents or guardians understand the kids are not at fault? The kids didn't do anything wrong. They were just born into whatever family. And that was their fate. Goes back to the book by Robert Kiyosaki. Is that his name? Nice guy. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He had two dads. That just kind of happens sometimes with families. And his first dad was Poor Dad, his second dad was Rich Dad. And the point of the book was what you're taught, not only about money and success and abundance, but about life is different if you come from an affluent family or a not so affluent family. I think this is very important. What do you teach, model, instill upon your kids growing up? I don't care which parent you are. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I don't care. Are you like the book? And if you're an affluent parent, do you give your kid all the confidence in the world, all the education in the world, all the accolades in the world, all of the know-all in the world, all of the prerequisites to succeed and achieve success? Or do you discount, diminish, make less than, not help, not support your kid, and not give them the tools to be successful and abundant? And that goes from money to life, right? Here's a thought. Is it possible? This is a cultural question. I want to know. Is it possible for those kids in the back of the line, after all the questions were asked and they still hadn't moved forward, right? Is it possible for them who came from non-affluent, non-abundant, non-successful families, is it possible for them to get everything that the affluent kids got from their quote-unquote rich dad? Is that possible? Or is that, think about this for a minute, you guys, don't jump to conclusions. Or is it that the parent has not the background experience, life skills, education, all that kind of stuff, to even be able to teach it? So does it perpetuate itself? So does it perpetuate and live on? I like to watch up here in the park. We have this beautiful park, many, many parks, but it has a Frisbee golf course on it, and they carry these bags that hold, I don't know, maybe 24 different Frisbees for different throwing conditions. And now they've got carts, like golf, to where you pull a cart with, I don't know, your 24 different Frisbees. This guy over here's got a caddy, just like golf. These are not people that look necessarily athletic and in shape, but it's their sport, and they love it. And I don't know. I haven't ever tried it. It does look kind of fun, but at any rate, I digressed as always that I do. So there's the deal, you guys. Is the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad fact, science? And if you come from a rich kid, you're going to end up being rich and affluent. If you come from a poor family, you're going to end up being poor and little to no abundance of anything, probably live in lack. That's just the way it works out. Life is unfair. So the question comes up, as you guys have already thought about it ahead of me, how do you change that? How do you change that cultural living in America, I guess is what I'm talking about. I don't know about other countries or anything like that. But how do you change that so that the kids in the back don't have to be the kids in the back? Or is that just the unfairness of life? I don't have the answer. I'm asking. Of course, you can all say, one kid at a time. Another person might say it's education, education, education. Not only do you educate the kid, but you need to educate the parent. Maybe talk about unfairness. Here's one. Think of all the billionaires in the world. There's a lot of billionaires. Go look it up. And they are not required and have no right. It's not required by them to distribute some of their money to lesser advantaged people. They just don't have to do that. There's nothing that says they have to do that. What if some of that money, a dabble of it from each billionaire, went towards making the playing field level. Ain't gonna happen, right? Ain't. It just is not gonna happen. You know, I've heard all kinds of excuses, but mostly, you know, I've earned my money and I have my own family to take care of. And I don't know. There's all kinds of excuses and rationalizations. Here's the one thing psychology teaches about life. And again, you know, I've done this 43 plus years. I don't know, go back to 1969. Fall of 69 is when I first started. Figure out the years from there. So I don't speak ignorantly. Okay? Here's the deal. We're put on the planet with a purpose. Whether you believe that or not, you are on the planet and you do have a purpose. And the purpose, partly, one of the purposes, and you know, there's other things, is to be of service to other people. Does that mean I'm a billionaire, I'm supposed to give my money away? No. Does it mean I'm a billionaire and I've acquired some knowledge that I pass on to my kids that will perpetuate their abundance in life? Maybe being of service is the billionaire goes somewhere on a regular basis and participates in mentoring young people about success, confidence, abundance, empowerment. You know, the wealthy people got there for a couple of reasons. They cheated one or they earned it. Most of them have all earned it. Therefore, they have knowledge that poor dads, nothing wrong with poor dads, didn't have. They didn't have that to teach, to mentor to their kids. I don't know, maybe that's another way. Here's the tragedy. The tragedy is that stuff doesn't happen enough. Is there some people out there that are wealthy doing that? Sure. Enough to make a difference? I wish there were more. Bring God into the picture. My understanding is that there's 2 or 3 things He gave us. He gave us a life of happiness and joy. He gave us a life of abundance. Right? And He gave us a life to be of service to one another. I just think there's a lot of people that are not there, that are not happy, that don't have abundance in their life. And abundance is, you know, I don't know, financial security, on up to all the things that you have and that are available to us every day. It doesn't have to be money, but I'd like people to go yesterday on YouTube. It was something about, the title to that thing was The Unfairness in Life or something. I put it onto my timeline on Facebook. So again, John Zager, JohnZegar. Just go to my Facebook page and go to my timeline, and you can watch the video. Incredible. Just incredible. So I don't know, we'll probably put this one under common sense psychology. Can't get any more common than this. This is life. This is what happens. The unfairness of it all. If you have the opportunity, go do this. If you don't have the opportunity, make one and go do this. And mentor someone with the knowledge that you have. Whether you're rich or poor, you have knowledge and information that can level the playing field for everyone. And I hope you think about this today. I hope you go out and do it. I hope you get in the habit of going out and doing this on a regular basis. It was a good topic. I'm glad I talked about it. So, God bless everybody. As I always say, take care of one another. And I'll look forward to talking to you all again real soon. See you. Bye.